Our next topic is the worldwide nature of the church. This presentation will be given to you by Bishop Patrick Streiff, Central and Southern Europe Episcopal Area, Chair of the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters, and a member of the Connectional Table. He is joined by Benedita Penicela, a member of the Africa Central Conference, the Connectional Table, and also a member of the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters. Please welcome them.
Good morning, everyone. Peace to you. So our task is to present the new vision for the worldwide United Methodist Church. We will start by reminding you what has been decided on the last session of General Conference. General Conference has established a new paragraph 101 in which the parts of the Book of Discipline mandating to distinguish what parts of the Book of Discipline are global and what can be adopted. We know that the Central Conferences have the right to adopt parts of the Book of Discipline according to paragraph 31.5. And the General Conference has established as well the new paragraph 125, which is a litany to our covenant for the worldwide United Methodist Church. I will request you to join me to follow the litany as I go through it. In covenant with God and each other, we affirm our unity in Christ. In covenant with God and each other, we commit ourselves to be in ministry with all people. In covenant with God and each other, we participate in God's mission as partners in ministry. In covenant with God and each other, we commit ourselves to full equality. In covenant with God and each other, we enter afresh into a relationship of mutuality. We joyfully vow worldwide connection in mission for the transformation of the world. Amen.
In these moments, we would like to walk you through several different initiatives from different groups in the church that have all to do with the worldwide nature of the church. And in the end, we will take a little bit more time around the Global or General Book of Discipline. So the first one is from Faith and Order. Faith and Order will present a document, Wonder, Love and Praise, which is the sharing of our vision as a church, similar to the documents which we already have around baptism and the Eucharist. This will be a document for our understanding of who we are as a church. And this document will be given to the church for study and then official approval at the 2020 General Conference. And another topic on which we work together is the question of Central Conference apportionments. and there will be a proposal coming from GCFA where the Episcopal Fund and the General Administration Fund shall be included in global apportionments as a first step in the next quadrennium. The formula for central conferences needs to be different from the formula you are used in the US because of all the technicalities, but the formula for central conferences is based on membership in annual conferences and an economic modifier per country, which takes into account how strong financially a country is.
Another initiative that has been going on during this quadrennium is the initiative from the connectional table relating to vital congregations and 4 areas of focus. The connectional table, as you know, provides a forum for understanding and implementing vision, mission, and ministries of the global church. In addition to that mandate, for next quadrennium, the connectional table proposes 2 mandates: defining and enabling a jurisdictional process where all the US conferences make decisions on matters that have exclusively to do with the United States. And also to prepare a realignment of connectional table so that it becomes more representative, both in region-wise or age-wise, and so that it's a body for a more inclusive body for the mission and ministry of the worldwide church by General Conference 2020. Another initiative is led by the General Board of Church and Society. The General Conference of 2012 mandated, together with the General Secretary, with the Secretary of the General Conference, they held hearings in different parts of the world during this ending quadrennia. And up to now, samples of the global social principles have been created and drafted. This process will continue along the next quadrennium, and they expect to present to General Conference 2020 the results of these consultations.
Another topic where we have moved forward in this quadrennium is around theological education. The 2012 General Conference has established a Commission on Central Conference Theological Education. You see on the slide the membership with 9 persons from Africa, 3 from the Philippines, 3 from Europe, 2 from GBAGM, and 2 from GBGM. Among them, bishops, theological educators, and persons from the boards of ordained ministry. The last General Conference has given 5 million in apportionment from the World Service Fund for such projects in central conferences. And the Commission has started to work, has made disbursements for 3 of these years, 2013 and 2014, and just 2 weeks ago we have done it for 2015. The Commission also supports a new project to build up an endowment fund for theological education in central conferences. This endowment fund will help to give a more sustainable income for such projects, and the disbursement will also go through that commission. The Commission requests to continue again with $5 million for the next quadrennium.
And the last initiative, last but not the least, is undertaken by the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters. As you probably know, the Standing Committee of Central Conference is a committee of the General Conference, and its membership is made up, as you can see, 3 persons, 1 bishop, 1 clergy, and 1 lay from the Central Conferences, meaning the Central Conferences outside the United States of America. Thus, adds up to 21 persons. And also from each of the 5 jurisdictions, we have 3 persons making up 15 persons. The board of directors of GBGM is also represented in the standing committee with 3 persons, and the Central Conference bishop that has sitting in the GCFA is also part of the standing committee of Central Conference matters. So altogether, we have 40 members. This committee has the privilege of meeting at least twice during the quadrennium, and also at the General Conference, and reports directly to the General Conference. This committee also has no staff, but all administrative matters are supported by GBGM. During this quadrennium, the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters has dedicated itself to different tasks. Among them, to address the challenge of the number of episcopal areas and the effectiveness of central conferences. We had the opportunity to carry out research in Africa. We managed to visit some countries in Africa, some central conferences, and the decision of the Standing Committee was to create what we call the Africa Plan. The Africa Plan is a collaborative plan for Africa, which will be taken care by a team composed of all African active bishops, plus 1 person from each annual conference, and also 10 non-African members of the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters. The main objective of this team or this committee is to increase the episcopal areas from 13 to 18 in Africa. Right now we have only 13 episcopal areas, and we felt that there is a need to increase them to 18. And also to propose new numbers and boundaries for the central conferences. As an example, I might say that the central conference I come from, the Africa Central Conference, extends from the southern tip of the Africa country until almost to the north, including 16 different countries, 3 different official languages. So you can imagine how complicated it is to operate in such a way. And this team that is going to be put together will report their decision to General Conference 2020. And besides this Africa Plan, the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters is proposing the creation of a provisional Central Conference for Southeast Asia and Mongolia. Due to work necessities, we need a new provisional central conference is required to connect the new missions that have been operating in Laos, Mongolia, Thailand, and Vietnam, and also to facilitate their development towards becoming provisional annual conferences, and also to establish episcopal leadership designated by the Council of Bishops in consultations with GBGM. For the time being, no election of an additional bishop is required.
The last part of the presentation is around the Global or General Book of Discipline, which has been one of the main topics of our work over this quadrennium. As you have already heard before, the 2012 General Conference added that paragraph 101. The paragraph says which parts are not adaptable by central conferences and lists the Constitution, the doctrinal standards, the ministry of all Christians, and the social principles. And then it goes on and says that the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters, in consultation with the Committee on Faith and Order, will bring recommendations to the 2016 General Conference as to which parts and paragraphs in Part 6 of the Book of Discipline are not subject to change or adaptation. Those who know well their Book of Discipline, the Part 6 is by far the largest part in the Book of Discipline. So when we started to work on this very huge topic, we had our first meeting as a standing committee in September 2013, started to prepare that work. Then in May 2014, worked together with Faith and Order. And there we decided that we cannot do all the work within this quadrennium, and that we want first to prioritize on those chapters that are of strongest interest to central conferences. And so we concentrated first on the chapters 1 to 4 and 6. Within that part 6, you see the different chapters and their topics. And we postponed the work on the chapters 5 and 7 for the next quadrennium. So it's work in progress. And then in February 2015, when we had our second meeting, we looked at the draft that we worked on so far and approved it. So you will see it in the ADCA. You see from that working that in the Standing Committee we do a lot of work in between our meetings, which is also often a new thing and not so easy because everyone has a lot of work to do. So I really commend the members of the Standing Committee for hard work, even in between the meetings, to prepare these drafts, to work together and bring what you will see at General Conference. You see on the right side a picture of part of our very first working sheets, where we went through these chapters and said, what is clearly worldwide? What yellow? Well, there are some good things in it, but it does not work everywhere like that. And red, either it does not work in many settings in central conferences in other parts of the world, or it is so detailed regulation that it's not among really the essentials. So that was a first line. But then you cannot just delete pieces out of the Book of Discipline. You need to create something which gives the big lines of what is really essential. So part of it was also to bring that together in some new draft for a global or general Book of Discipline. At this General Conference in 2016, there will be no disciplinary action on this draft, because otherwise we would have conflicting language between the present Book of Discipline, or the one you act on, and this new one. But what we are asking for is that General Conference will affirm the direction in which we have worked, so that we know that we can work on to finalize it for the 2020 General Conference. And we ask that this draft can be sent to all annual conferences in 2017. So in whichever way the annual conference will deal with it, that's their They have to look at it, but we would like to have from each annual conference feedback by the end of 2017 to this draft. That will help the church worldwide to get to know this draft, to begin to live into it, and to tell us whether the main thrust, how we want to go forward, is good. With the three main questions: what is essential for the worldwide connection of the UMC that is missing in the draft? Where is the draft too detailed and in need of further prioritization of that which is truly essential? And are there inconsistencies or inaccuracies that are found in the draft and need to be corrected? The only disciplinary element which we propose to General Conference is the revision of paragraph 101 that will help us to continue our work into the new quadrennium. And in that new revision, it is said that everything which you find now in the Book of Discipline in Part 6 will be in 2020 separated in two different parts. A new Part 6 that is worldwide, non-adaptable, and a new Part 7 that has all the adaptable regulations where central conferences then can choose what they need and adapt for their specific settings. At General Conference 2016, right in the early days, on Wednesday, on the morning where we will have the Episcopal address, there will be, in the second part of the morning, 2 hours, particularly on Christian conferencing around the worldwide nature of the Church. And during these 2 hours, you will already be in the settings of your legislative committees so that you begin to get to know each other. And in a first round of this Christian conferencing, you begin to share what is your ministry setting and your particular challenge in your context. And then in a second round, what is most important for a truly worldwide, global, and general book of discipline that undergirds and empowers the mission of the entire UMC. And there you will begin to listen to each other and journey together, and that will follow up over the next days when you are in your legislative committee. Let me just close with an example from my own central conference in Central and Southern Europe and our work with the Global Book of Discipline. We have now an adapted version of the Book of Discipline. We need to translate this shortened and adapted version in more than 10 languages for 7 annual conferences, which cover 16 countries. That's only my own central conference. And we need to have a book of discipline that empowers mission in very diverse cultural, religious, and legal settings: Western Europe, Eastern Europe, North Africa. And my hope and dream is that when we get to a really, truly global or general book of discipline, and when we get it right around what is truly essential, we do not need to change it every 4 years in so many places. Because honestly, in our central conference, we would like to do mission and not just to translate a new version of the Book of Discipline. Thank you. And CT does a lot of CT talks with short videos. This month, the CT talks are around the worldwide nature of the Church. Have a look at them. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
Are there any questions? Well, you guys are just right on it. Oh, wait, I see one. Would you mind stepping to the microphone, please? And would you please tell us your name and what annual conference or publication you're from?
Didn't realize this would be so formal. I'm Tom Lank from Greater New Jersey. I was just wondering if any of these slides would be available to us to bring back to our delegations and share with them.
Yes, they will be. I'll make another announcement later on to tell you exactly how you can get them.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Lonnie Brooks, Alaska lay leader. I'm interested to know, Bishop Streiff, if you would see any impediment to what the work is that you see ahead for the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters to the establishment, in the establishment of a Central Conference in the United States.
Well, I think the next part of this morning will be exactly on this topic. If I change my hat from the Standing Committee to being a member of the Connectional Table. In the Connectional Table, we had also a working group around worldwide nature of the church issues. And there we also had that question, where does the US have the place to discern and decide on particular US matters? For the moment, the US can only do it at General Conference. And that's part of the problem, that General Conference is a kind of mixed bag, working on particular US matters, for example, all the pension regulations you have, and on the other hand, having all the global issues. So somehow, walking to 2020, we think we need to clarify that. And therefore, the Connectional Table brought that legislation for this kind of group formed by the jurisdictions together with some persons from central conferences to look into that question over the next quadrennium and come up with proposals to the 2020 General Conference.